Hola! Today I have some news for you. Today, Tatouée becomes Tatouée. Please join me in a warm welcome for a courageous guest today, Jeanette. She has volunteered to do a live presentation of this tattoo machine for the first time in the history of robotic tattoos. So, she came here with 10 tattoos or so, and she's leaving the presentation with 2 more. No need to be nervous. Robots don't get nervous. They don't get shaky hands. Before I continue, a fair notice of warning. This presentation does contain some graphical content. The activities are performed by professionals, so if you're going to try this, consult professionals. Viewer discretion is advised. I'm going to give a couple more minutes for my partners over here, Pierre and Joanne, to finish getting set up. And in the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about who we are and where we come from. As I mentioned, this is a robotic tattoo. Robotic means precision, means speed, means control. Tattoo still means needles, a little bit of pain, and the sense of permanence. So this is a permanent tattoo that we're. It all started by hacking a 3D printer. If you're familiar with 3D printers, you might recognize the frame. And that's because, well, we did start with a 3D printer. But I can assure you, the machine is now very different from your traditional machines. At the beginning, we started by replacing the extruder by a tattoo pen. And shortly after a couple of successful tests on silicone, well, we sort of felt the need to test on humans. This is a great moment for me to mention that both Joanne and Pierre are certified to do tattoos. This means prevent infections and are following all sanitary requirements. As you can see in the video, the tattoo we're making here in this video is quite small. And that's because at this point, the machine could only move in 2 dimensions. So the surface of the skin had to be fairly flat. But as we all know, the body is not flat. The body has curves, it has volume, it has mass. So part of a big challenge was how do you address this? How do you sense for volume? And that led to one of the key innovations of this machine, and is this sensor that is able to detect the shape of the body, detect the form, detect the flow, detect those forms that make us so human. You can see here these tests are made in silicone. Silicone resembles a lot of the conditions of the skin. We had this fake arm, and then you can just immediately throw different designs and iterate through it. Breaking the chains of 2 dimensions also allowed us to experience with very different ideas. It led to different collaborations that we weren't really expecting. One of our favorites was with Alexandre Echausserieux, who won the Audi Talents Prize in 2014. His idea was about replacing circuits by using conductive ink in leather. So just by printing on leather or painting on leather is not a real solution because it might fade after using. And by tattooing it, well, you're actually embedding it into the material itself. So it's there permanent. And here we're doing a keyboard. For another project that we actually worked with was with Gillian Grave. He's a synthetic biologist, and he was working with synthetic skin. And this is very interesting for us because we can test how the the tattoo will behave over time, because in this skin, the skin is still alive. But what we realize is that there's really no substitute for human skin. So again, we come back to testing in ourselves, and this notes to ourselves that this serves as a timeline for us, and we can see the iterations during different prototypes, what worked best, how the flow is working, how we're evolving, because the live tattoo, the tattoo on live skin is very different from silicone, is very different from leather, is very different from dead skin, because it doesn't forgive. If you go too deep, it fades. If you go not deep enough, it might erase after a while. So getting the depth of the skin is very important. I think we're almost ready over here. Some other advantages of this technology is the tattoo lasts for 4 minutes, so I'm going to keep speaking. Some other advantages of our technology is what we can do with software. Here, for example, we're able to take a picture of a drawing you see in the street, maybe a Snapchat, put it on your phone, send it to the machine. Minutes later, you have it on your leg. Another idea we're working on is what feedback and live tattoo means. Maybe you can control it with a remote. Maybe the tattoo itself can modify itself. Maybe the artwork can respond to the action of being tattooed by the user. This idea of making something that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And although many of these tattoos are made by the same machine, our concept goes far beyond that. And I want to share this project that we did during our residency at Autodesk with an industrial robot arm, like the one you would see in a factory. For those who are not familiar with industrial robots, they're normally in factories, they're normally in cages away from humans. And in this case, we wanted to have one actually doing a tattoo going into Pierre's leg. This took a long time to set up, a long time to actually get it right. An incredible support from professional roboticists, and the results were amazing. If you have something to say, if it's something good, if it's something bad, love or hate, we love you all. We love all the feedback. If you're interested in investing, we're looking for investments. We're looking to raise something. So come talk to us at the Chill Lab, and we can also show you some other pieces that we made, and you can also see some other pieces that are on Pierre's leg. Thank you so much.